We have gotten our first look at number one overall pick Cam Ward at Tennessee Titans minicamp, and so far he looks the part. I spent about an hour going across every single social media channel to try and get every single clip that I could find of Cam Ward so far in practice, and the very first one I'm going to show you is just Cam Ward throwing on air, and I think this highlights his mechanics, his throwing motion, how quick his release is, and what the Titans are trying to work with him on, because it was an area he needed some improvement in when he came out of Miami just a few months ago. You see, Cam Ward's strength and what really made him one of the best quarterbacks in the country was what he was able to do off script in terms of playmaking. What I mean by that is when the play breaks down or Cam Ward's first or second read is not open, he can buy time in the pocket by doing a couple of spin moves behind the line of scrimmage and then throwing a pass down the field to his wide receiver. We saw it time and time again for the Hurricanes this past year, and a huge reason why Cam Ward was the first quarterback off the board in the 2025 NFL draft. So we know the off-script playmaking is there, and that really does raise the ceiling of how good Cam Ward can be in the NFL. You look around the league to the best quarterbacks in the sport like Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. They're all really good once the play breaks down, so that's a huge element that Cam Ward has to his game, which is really going to help him out, especially early on. But an underrated part of his game, we see this from some of these clips that I'm showing in the background, is his ability in the red zone to have pinpoint accuracy and actually be able to find his receivers in the back end of the end zone. Another pro of his game is also his ability to utilize a bunch of different arm angles. Ward is not the biggest quarterback in the NFL. He's around that 6'2" range, which is still a good height for an NFL quarterback. But when you're not 6'4" or 6'5" like Josh Allen, sometimes you have some bigger pass rushers come into your face, and you got to find a unique way to get a pass around them or through them, and that is where some of these unique arm angles can be a really big asset. A couple other clips that really jumped out to me was the touch of the deep ball from Cam Ward. We did see that in Miami as well, and then still his escapability in some of these 7-on-7, 11-on-11 drills, and being able to maneuver the pocket, find his way in and out of the rush, and then be able to find a receiver down the field. There were some questions, how is that going to translate to the NFL level when you're not going up against some ACC defensive linemen, but actually some highly drafted freak athletes, because the NFL is full of those types of players. If these practices are any indication, I do think Cam Ward will be fine extending plays and also being able to make some explosive plays happen down the field. Now, something I really want to touch on, which I think is very important and not many people are talking about it when it comes to the success of a quarterback and also what he can mean to a team, is just the leadership and the culture change that Cam Ward is going to bring to the Titans and already has brought. Just from some of these clips that I've seen, you can already see the team just rallying behind him. Tony Pollard and other players on the team are doing his celebration, which I think is really cool. There's even been reports of Cam Ward trash talking with the defense, and specifically Jeffrey Simmons, who's one of the best players on the entire roster. It was reported in this article that Simmons got after Ward in practice with a couple of sacks on him, and he let Ward know about it, but Ward, he didn't hesitate to chirp back, which did impress the Pro Bowl player. Simmons said, "I've been hearing how much smack he talked, so I told him I'm going to smack talk you too. I saw it myself that you could have a guy with that much confidence as a rookie." And Ward said, "I need somebody like that, especially somebody like Jeff who's going to let you know he's there every time." And this kind of back and forth did not happen in previous years, especially not from the quarterback, and that just sets the tone of the entire team and allows the offense to kind of rally and believe in their starting quarterback. Head coach Brian Callahan also said, "I think we found out that we have another guy that likes to talk probably just as much. It was good for the energy of practice." Callahan continued and said, "When I'm calling a play, he's doing all he's doing, but he's listening to everything I'm telling him. It was pretty remarkable to see all the things going on and how much he's talking, but like his brain is still with me." So that was a very cool exchange and kind of shows what I'm talking about. There's also been a lot of veterans on the team that have expressed a lot of positivity about the leadership qualities that Ward has shown already. Second-year right tackle J.C. Latham, he credited Ward for his accountability. He said Ward will admit when he's wrong, even if it's not 100% on him. He also mentioned that he liked how Ward didn't back down from the bully on the team in Jeffrey Simmons. He said, "I guess Jeff must have gotten too close to Cam, so he head-butted him." As a quarterback who hasn't played any snaps and seeing Jeff as the top dog of the team, he he's not backing down and going right at him. You have a few other rookies that spoke really highly of Cam Ward as well. Tight end Gunnar Helm said he's just a great leader, super easy to talk to, super easy to connect with, super easy to communicate with on the field. Alec Ayumanor said you just got to get it while it's hot, so if there's something wrong with the rep, you just have to run it back and get it right. He gets the ball out really fast, which is great and something I have to get used to. And another rookie wideout, Shamir Dyke, said Cam has been great working with us receivers. He's a really good leader and has that presence on the field and throws the ball really well. And so those are some of the quotes of his teammates of the early impressions of his leadership and on the field play. But something that really impressed me was when head coach Brian Callahan said that Cam Ward shows up to the facility at 5 a.m. every day and has to force him to go home on some nights. And when asked about the 5 a.m. routine, he said, "It's just my process. It's how I've always been in college until now. It's how I get everything in, whether it's film, treatment-wise. I gotta get everything in to start my day, to end my day by whatever time you gotta get it done." And when asked about his energy levels being impacted by these longer days, he said, "I'm always energized. I'm playing football, so I'm doing what I love. Not a lot of people can do that in this world. I'm blessed to do it, so I'm always going to have energy when I'm on the field." And why that is so impressive to me is I think one of the number one traits for star players or even Hall of Fame caliber players in the NFL is just their love and drive for the sport. Because at the end of the day, if you do make the NFL, whether you're a first round pick or even a fifth round pick, you have talent, you have shown some flashes even at the college level of elite film. And what separates guys at the pro level is how bad they want it and their drive to be great. I know it might seem corny or not that big of a deal, but I promise you, you have to have that commitment and wanting to be great day in and day out if you are going to reach your ceiling. And so if I'm a Titans fan and I'm seeing Cam Ward show up early, organize some of these activities with my receivers and other players on my offense, setting the culture and tone for the team in the locker room and on the field against some of the other star players on the team, that is what I would be most impressed with and excited about before any of the practice clips and things that we've seen. I think his leadership and what he's been able to bring to the Titans team already, I think is the biggest thing so far. I think the expectations for Ward as a rookie is really hard to gauge because I don't know how good this Titans team is going to be as a whole. We've seen in recent memory with CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels this past year where a rookie quarterback has a great season and kind of just carries his team to the postseason, but that is just not a common thing that happens in the NFL. You really need a lot of things to go right around you, and I don't think those are fair expectations to put on Cam Ward, especially right away. What I will say about the Titans roster is their defense is a lot better than how their numbers finished this past season, and they've got some really good players on that defense. We mentioned Jeffrey Simmons, but T'Vondre Sweat was amazing as a rookie. I think L'Jarius Sneed is going to bounce back and have a better year in the secondary, and we saw early in the season last year when the Titans defense was healthy and well rested, they were one of the better defenses in the league. It's kind of one of those things when you have Will Levis going 3 and out every other drive or Mason Rudolph come in and you're still going 3 and out every other drive. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense. It tires them out, and over time you're going to see that defense begin to fall off. So I believe the Titans defense can be at least average next season, which would still be a big boost for a rookie quarterback to have to rely on. And then offensively for Tennessee, I think the biggest pro is their offensive line. They poured a ton of resources into that unit the last couple of years. They spent 2 first-round picks on J.C. Latham and Peter Skronsky, and they've paid pretty decent money to the other 3 starters on the offensive line and Dan Moore Jr., Lloyd Cushenberry, and Kevin Zeitler. They did pay a ton of money to Dan Moore, who's kind of just like an average left tackle, and a lot of people did not like that move. But I think as long as just an average to good starter at that position, which is one of the hardest to play in the league, I think it was worth the overpay to surround your rookie quarterback and be able to protect his blind side. Now, weapons-wise, I do also think the Titans are a little bit underrated in terms of their weaponry. I think Tony Pollard has proven he can be an RB1 for a team and be relatively productive. I really like Tajay Spears out of the backfield as some guy that can catch screens or just be an outlet for Cam Ward in some tough situations. And then the receiving core is headlined by 2 longtime veterans in Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett, just good players at this point of their career. And then they just have a handful of rookies. I've already mentioned a couple of them like Alec Ayumanor, Shamir Dyke, and then they also have Xavier Restrepo, the college teammate of Cam Ward. I think Chigga is a good tight end who can definitely break out now that he has a functionable quarterback. So this Titans team, it has some pieces. I really don't think it's going to be like one of the worst teams in the league. I think anywhere from 6 to 9 wins is a fair expectations for this team. It really just depends how good Cam Ward can be from day one, and if he does get the requisite support from the coaching staff and the rest of the pieces on the team. But individually for Cam, I think we're going to see a lot of explosive plays this upcoming season, a lot of the play extension that I've talked about throughout this video. But what kind of goes with that is I do think we could see his turnovers be a little bit high, because I do think some of the playmaking and gunslinging mentality that he does have could get him in some trouble early in his rookie season as he tries to kind of figure out the NFL game. But I mean, Tennessee averaged 18.3 points per game this past season, which was 27th in the NFL. I think their offense will be a lot more effective than that, largely due to what Cam Ward can do. But that is our first look at Cam Ward. We will not see him again until late July when the Titans begin training camp. But I will be sure to update you guys on Ward later this summer, and also some of the other top rookies in this past year's draft. So be on the lookout for those videos. But if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, as only 4.1% of you who watch these videos are subscribed. So what are you doing? Hit the red button. But make sure to drop a like and let me know how many touchdowns you think Cam Ward will throw for in 2025. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.